Welcome back to Philosophy of the Barber. Today's guest is John Stewart, also known as Johnny Limit. He is the owner of Stanley's Barbershop in Manchester, New Hampshire. He's owned that barbershop for the last year. Congratulations, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
And he has been a licensed barber here in New Hampshire since 2016. How's it going?
It's going awesome. How are you today?
Oh, I can't complain. So, first things first, because we haven't had much of a conversation before. So I'm in the same boat as the audience where it's like, ooh, we're learning new things about new people.
That's fun.
So you are someone who apprenticed.
Yes.
Instead of going to a barber school. So that's a first for the show, the very young show so far. So tell me how you mentally decided that you wanted to be a barber in the first place.
Well, I was doing tire service before, and it's a pretty laborious job. And I had a lot of friends that were in the industry. It looked pretty fun. You could be creative and be your own boss. And I was approached by a really good friend of mine, Josh Hines, the owner of Best Times Barbershop and Stronghold Barbershop. And he offered to apprentice me. This is in about the summer of 2015. So I started thinking of the idea of doing it and coming in and checking it out, sweeping, just watching haircuts, meeting the staff there, And I decided it was something I wanted to do. So I just took the plunge in that November and got an official apprentice license and did the program.
So when he offered to apprentice you as opposed to referring you to a barber school, had he had an apprentice before?
No, I was the first one at the shop.
And he'd obviously been a barber for a few years. Best of Times had been there for a little while at that point, right?
Yeah.
So how was the apprentice process? Because for those of you that don't know, doing an apprenticeship in the state of New Hampshire is twice the number of hours as going to barber school. So there's a lot of on-the-job training and a lot of self-driven book work.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's a really good experience because you get a lot of hands-on training with the professionals. Everyone I worked with at the time had been doing it for years. And I was like, oh man, they're light years ahead of me. I need to get that instantly. So it was it was cool to see, but it was also kind of stressful being oh man, I don't know anything. But yeah, it was good. They taught me things. And then, like you said, I did a lot of the bookwork stuff. I got the textbook, the Milady powering book. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you just had to do for the apprenticeship program in New Hampshire, I think just one test a month. But I actually did the full book, did all the chapters, and was very self-motivated. Just wanted to get the program to learn as fast as possible, and be cutting hair proficiently.
Sure. So you're very self-driven. I feel like that's a requirement for anybody who's looking to get into an apprenticeship. You can't have that need to have somebody on you to do things. You have to be self-driven.
Totally. You can't just because it's no one has they're not real teachers. They can teach you things, but they're working full time and you're just kind of in the mix, And
well, plus they're a walk-in shop, right?
Yeah, it's a walk-in shop.
So it's kind of whatever you learn that day is whatever walks through the door.
Yeah, exactly. But it was cool though. I made a real big mental note of the clients, things we talked about, haircuts they got. I would know what people got for haircuts before I ever cut their hair. So they'd sit down. I'm like, oh yeah, I usually get this. This is what we're doing today, and they'd be like, yes.
So did that help or hinder you when it came to having new customers and figuring out what they wanted for a haircut?
I think it maybe a little bit of both because it's oh, this works for you, but I don't really like to tell people what they should get for a haircut. I mean, I've learned from experience some ideas that some things don't work. I learned that around that time because someone will tell you, oh, I want an undercut, but I want it to be an inch long. And you're okay. You're just on autopilot. You're I'm going to do what the customer says. And then you do it, and it's not flipping over and just looks crazy.
Never do what the customer says.
But then you're responsible for it. But you learn from that, and you go, okay, next time someone says this, I'm not going to necessarily talk them out of it, but I'm going to explain what happened before and be maybe that's not the right route to go. And they'll appreciate you doing that, Oh,
yeah. Educating your customers is one of the responsibilities of being a good barber. whether it's on a subject of a hair product or it's on a, I know you spouted off numbers to me, but you don't know what those mean. It's kind
Oh,
of like telling your doctor you need a certain medication when you don't actually know what that treats.
totally. Um, I just wanted to make a note. Back to the apprenticeship thing. When I was doing it, it was like a full year. You had to do at least 1,600 hours, and you have to wait a whole year before you can take the state boards.
Right.
And I don't know if it's the same, but I just wanted to say that.
Well,
But
and the things are changing constantly,
yeah,
especially
that's
in our
why.
profession.
And that was like a few years ago, so I don't know now.
Well, even the state board test changes all the time.
Yeah,
It seems like they
you
keep
mentioned
dumbing
that
it down,
earlier.
making it easier and easier. It's like, if the government could just say what they need to say by going, we just need to make sure that you can do it safely,
Yeah,
that you're not going to maim anyone, and if you happen to cut them, that you know how to clean it up properly. That's all they can measure.
yeah,
Everything else can't be quantified, whether or not you cut hair well or whether or not you shave well. It's the can you do it safely?
can you do it safely?
And that's
Yeah.
what the license is. Can you do your job safely?
And then you just gotta hone the skills from there.
Yep. And everything else is, the art and the craft. The trade is, doing it properly.
Absolutely.
All right. So how is it the past year owning the shop at Stanley's?
It's been really fun. It's it's been a lot of new tasks. I enjoy it. I am the type of personality that likes to constantly be doing something, and I found from being like a business owner, you're constantly like you paying these bills or going over analytics or marketing or just like rehabbing stuff. You know what I mean? So since I came aboard the Stanley's team, I repainted the walls. I had the floor redone. I did some new rebranding. Had a new logo made. Got some merch, some new pomades. I don't know. Just did some stuff I thought would make it cool and fun and look sharper.
Having creative control is definitely one of the perks of owning.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So now you have a very unique position where you work at a shop that you don't own and yet also own a shop. So how does your shop owner feel about that? Like, does that cause any concerns? But I know they're very separated. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
distance between them.
There's like an hour between them, so most people wouldn't travel that far for a haircut. I mean, I would. Most barbers would, but there's like no concern there. It's just like how my situation organically came about. In a few words, is like I did an apprenticeship at Best Times Barbershop. I worked there for a few years, and then Josh, the owner of Best Times, opened Stronghold Barbershop, and then the team we all had there, we were kind of growing in that spot where Stronghold is 280 Central Ave. It's iconic in Dover, New Hampshire for like being a barbershop since like the mid 60s. It was Louis, and it was a bunch of other barbershops. So it's like a really cool spot to be able to get into. Anyways, he opened that shop. It was awesome. It was like a barber shop / arcade. And we all kind of went back and forth. So instead of like we were all being at Best Times, now we all kind of split up our time doing like 3 shifts here, 2 here, vice versa. And then the last couple of years with like, new barbers coming on and stuff, I kind of just worked there full time. And I've been there for the last couple of years. And every once in a while, I'll still pop in at Best Times and work. But it's kind of like we're a big shop broken into 2. It's like they're kind of the same shop. And then, so I've been there like nonstop since I started cutting hair. And then the opportunity to buy Stanley's came about a year or so ago. And I was like, man, this is an awesome little barbershop. My friend owns it. My friend Matt we were talking about offered to sell me the shop. And there's really no room. It's already like a full shop. Like he's been there for, I think, 8 years now. Erica's been there for, it's not like an idiot not knowing this. I want to say like 4 or 5 years, I believe. And Bucky about 2 years. So it's a 3-chair shop. So there was only a few shifts for me to actually work there. And I kind of just took over the back end stuff, and I kind of fit myself where I fit in, So I was doing like 4 days here in Dover, 2 days in Manchester, up until the pandemic. And then it's a small shop, so our center chair, we can't use it right now because of the 6 feet social distancing. So we staggered the schedule a little bit, and I'm actually only in Manchester on Sundays right now, temporarily. And full-time in Dover still.
Nice. And I think it's a phenomenal option that I don't think a lot of people really get. Like, when you have the opportunity to purchase a shop that's historically been around for a very long time and they have a full staff. It's like, and who wants to sell it to you still wants to work there.
Yeah.
Is like, sweet, like I can just own it and like do the back end stuff and it can basically run itself otherwise.
Totally.
Where it's like, I don't have to fill an opening.
And that's kind of what I wanted to mention too, is that the shop is awesome. The shop was awesome before me, but I feel like I always describe Stanley's as like a diamond in the rut, like an awesome little place that not a lot of people knew about, and I'm just trying to show more people about it and make it kind of shine. Like, hey, we're here,
Yeah.
you know?
And being able to support something that you know is already great,
Yeah.
and going, all right, I see where some of the things could be better that you can control, and it's like, hey, cut hair because you've been doing great. I just want to make sure that more people know about it, and we have good branding and all of the business stuff
Totally.
that some people don't necessarily have the strength.
It's a whole
In
other
that
job,
area.
really.
Yeah,
It's like you're barbering, and then it's now you're the business owner. You're in charge of marketing and cleaning and fixing the windows, and this thing broke, you know, and I'm making it
You're a
sound
landlord.
bad, but yeah. There's a lot going on. A lot of things. You constantly look at the spot too, and you're like, you know what? It'd look cool if it had some benches here, or like we had the windows done up, or whatever, you know.
well, I think that's one of the perks of not having to fill a spot in the shop is that you have the ability to be away from the chair and see from the perspective of a customer and see how they're looking at it, to see like the little weak points, like, oh, that looks like it could, use a coat of paint, or hey, we need to make sure that we, get in this corner because it tends to collect a lot of hair and dust.
Yeah.
Being able to focus on those details that customers notice, but if you're behind the chair all the time, you don't always get a chance to sit in a waiting chair.
Absolutely. And I don't know, I'm into like product and merchandising. Like I used to be in bands and stuff. I would constantly make like, apparel, shirts, hats, whatever. So I like to like add that flair to Stanley's. I'm like, all right, let's do a shirt. Let's do this. And then incorporate sometimes like my personality into it. Like I just made, this is 90s skateboard brand called Shorties. And they had this cool like shirt that went across the sleeves. And I don't know, I just kind of like did like a homage to that kind of thing, and just little stuff that I'm into and kind of put your own twist on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and offering another artistic outlet outside of, a haircut.
Totally, yeah.
I think that's one thing that people that are getting into barbering don't necessarily think about, especially if one of their long-term goals is to own a shop, is that there's another half of the business that you have to figure out. There's, of course, the bookkeeping and the taxes and like that end of things that is personally my weak point. I strongly dislike and struggle with that area, though I found a way through it. But it's the concern for the atmosphere and the experience that a customer's having, not just, the product that they're leaving with, but the actual experience of being in the chair and who they're talking to and the surrounding decor and energy that they experience that's within the control of whoever owns the shop, if they're willing to put forth that effort.
I always say there's like 3 sides to barbering. And I try to tell people there's obviously cutting hair safely and well, having like good customer engagements, talking to people and trying to be friendly and build like making a good experience, But what you just touched on is huge too, is like self-discipline with taxing. Because as a barber, you are literally your own small business in a business, and you have to have that discipline of like, I need to save this. This is for taxes. Because if you just wing it in the end of the year, you really can hurt yourself, So.
Oh yeah, or if you're like doing the math of how many haircuts you have to cut that week in order to do whatever you're wanting to do, it's like, yeah, that's not good accounting.
I think it's like a little bit every day is the best way to do it. Because you do it at the end of the week or the end of the month, and it looks like, wow, that's like a lot, but it's definitely doable. Well, obviously.
Well, and especially if you look at, that's how the government does it, where it's like, take it out of every paycheck.
Yeah.
Well, if you get paid every day, then take it out of every paycheck.
Exactly.
It may be cash, but you can still do
Just
it the
take
same
it,
way. That
put
way
it
it hurts less.
Absolutely.
Little by little, not just like all at the end of the month or end of the quarter.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, totally.
So, how have you enjoyed the whole interaction with customers? Because I get the impression that you're naturally more of an introvert than you are an extrovert. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. I like to think I'm probably more of an extrovert. I like to talk to people. I kind of you probably do the same. Like gauge people. You like talk to them and see how they're responding. If you're getting a lot of like one word answers, it's probably like, all right. Let's let them chill and focus on what I'm doing. But I try to find like common grounds. Like what what's going on in Netflix. And just try to talk to anyone about anything. What they got going on. What they're about. What they do.
So everybody has like their core favorite customers. Like nobody talks about it, but we do. It's kind of like being an aunt or an uncle. Like you got your favorite nieces and nephews. You don't tell them that, but you do. So like, what kind of stuff do you really connect with people with that really makes it like exciting? It's like, oh sweet, this person's coming in today. Awesome. I know we're gonna have a fantastic conversation.
Let me think. Kind of got me off guard there. Any like meaningful conversation really? It's not just like the rundown of like the same like thing.
It's not like superfluous small talk the whole time.
Yeah, you can have like a conversation you kind of walk away from and like, wow, that was cool. Like yesterday, I talked to someone and I'm like gonna probably butcher his wording, but describing like doing a job you like and how it's worth more to you if you get paid less if you're doing something you like, and I don't know, just the balance of that.
Yeah,
Just like stuff like that, or just anything interesting, really. You know what I mean? That kind of like isn't the same thing every day, because we have a really unique opportunity where we can, and I've always appreciated this, talk to different people that I probably never would have encountered before, and because I work in like barbering, I meet all sorts of people, all sorts of walks of life.
Oh yeah, we have the spectrum, and we get to learn so much from them because of that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, not emphasized enough as one of the perks of the profession. Is that if you want to learn something, all you got to do is stop and listen.
Oh, totally.
If you learn how to listen, you can learn a lot.
And if you're local, you find out anything you need. Oh, who's the mechanic? Where can I get this done?
Well, there's that expectation as a barber in the community that if somebody comes to you with a question on something that they need, that you'll have the answer because you get everybody in your chair.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because I live in Manchester, which I have roughly the last, 15 years, and I talk to so many people in the seacoast where I usually work, and I hear about these places that I never see, and once in a while I'll drive through town, and I get, surprised when I see places that I've heard so much about or talked so much about. I'm like, oh, there's that restaurant. That's the thing. That's what they're talking about. I don't know. It becomes more like words to me because I dip out because I drive like an hour, 2 hours every day, hour home. So don't usually spend a lot of time perusing around Dover.
Well, I think that if you took once a month or whatever to go and explore and pop into those places, that your clientele would just be ecstatic in seeing you, especially because they know that you live out of town, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, oh, Johnny, what's up?
Yeah, it's funny. That happened in Manchester the other day. And I thought that was even more unique because, like I was saying, the last year I've only cut hair in Manchester 2 days a week, 1 day a week most of the time, and now one. And I got yelled at by a guy. Not yelled at, but he's like, oh, you got my son's hair, remember last week? And I was like, oh, yeah. Have a nice night. But it was cool, though. It's nice to be, recognized, for the shop. That's branding. It's cool to see people. It's a human connection,
One of my barbers, she's young, but she's also learning that, the whole concept of living in a community that you work in, that going to the grocery store is like wear a hoodie and sunglasses because everybody's going to stop you and say hi.
That's funny. That actually happened to me when I was leaving. I ran into a customer when I was walking out because Stronghold's connected to Tokens and Tokens Tap Room. And there's we would do the family hours on Saturdays. And I don't know, just talked for 5 minutes 'cause I haven't seen him in a while since everything's been going on. He's usually a once a weeker, one on top, high skin fade. And I didn't even know who I was talking to for a minute, but he knew my name. He's like, oh, hey, Johnny. And I'm like, yeah. You ever talk to someone, you pretend like you know who they are?
All the
and
time.
Then I started talking to him, and I'm like, he was playing a pinball game, so he didn't notice it, but I realized, I'm like, I do know you. And I was like, oh, hey, how's it going, man? How's this? How's that? You've been in New York again recently. But I don't know, it's kind of funny. It's good when you can talk to someone and you don't remember it, but you're trying to remember, and then you actually remember, and you're like, oh, I do remember.
I have that problem all the time, and it's not necessarily that I don't remember them. It's that I have to figure out where I know them from because I'm fairly active in the Laconia community when it comes to like city stuff,
That's awesome.
as well as the shop, and then active in my church as well. So it's like, all right, where do I know you from?
Oh yeah, totally.
It's a guessing game. I first assumption is the shop, but if the haircut does not look familiar, then I will be like, maybe not, maybe somewhere else.
Did you ever get that feeling that's like the same thing but the opposite? You're like, I feel like I don't like this person, but I don't know why. This is nothing to do with barbering, but I remember I was at the pet store once, and this guy started talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know who this dude is, but I feel this weird like spider sense. And then I remember he's like one of my neighbors that like got really mad at me once because I like threw trash in his trash can, like while I was walking down the street. But it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I get a read on people pretty quick anyway, and
Yeah.
that's one of the virtues. It's great to be a barber and have that talent,
Yeah.
but it's very like even in the most benign situation, if I get a strong vibe from you, I trust the vibe because there's a reason. I don't know what it is consciously, but there's a reason.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be like you're, blocked forever and ever.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm going to be a little like cautious.
That's cool. You're active in the community. I'm trying to do more stuff like that with Stanley. Is like last year we did like a school drive and we had like collected trapper keepers and notebooks and pens, and then we did like a Christmas toy drive thing. I can't remember which one it was for, but anyways, it was fun because you could like support local businesses. I got like a skateboard from a shop I like and threw it in there. Some kids gonna get hooked up.
Oh, it's great to be part of the community, especially if you're in a downtown area like we are. The merchants and like everybody kind of goes to each other's place
Oh, totally.
and really like props each other up and supports each other. And if you're not part of that, it's very obvious. And typically, somebody who doesn't like fit into that network doesn't last because with our winters being so long up here, especially, if you don't get through the winter with the locals, that's half the year, man. Like, if you can't get through the winter, forget it. Unless you are specifically, like, only open for the season.
Yeah.
Then it's like, all right, if you shut down through the winter, like, that's your choice. If your books make sense, cool, you can do that. But in order to operate year-round, you have to have the locals. Because we're such a vacation destination that in the summertime, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are at your job.
Yeah.
Chances are you're going to get business.
People are here. That's
Because
cool.
we've only got so many things that are open.
No.
But yeah, if you don't have the locals on your side, forget it.
Yeah, it's integral to be part of the community for sure.
Well, it's great for just like we do the Greater Lakes Region Children's Auction happens like the first week of December every year, and it's a whole to do like TV broadcast, radio, internet, live stream, like bidding all week with stuff that people donate, and it's great for us because we can take one day of our year and just move the shop to that location for the day. And just by doing that, number one, it breaks up the day for us. Like, it's like, oh, something new and different. We're in a different situation.
Yeah.
We have to, like, problem solve because it's not an ideal barbershop situation. But it's also like, oh, we get to see so many people that we only see at the auction.
Yeah, it's good for the community, but it's also great for your brand too. I mean, I've seen that do wonders for like Best of Times Barbershop. They have Apple Harvest Day in Dover, and they always set up outside. It's not like really far away, but that was like monumental, I feel like, with that first shop because that got a lot of people's attention, seeing people cut hair outside. And like you said, it's kind of out of your element, like having the booth outside and like a lot of people walking around. I can't really take credit for it. I didn't personally cut hair outside, but I've been a part of a lot of those, cutting hair inside or passing out pamphlets or combs or both,
Well, just like putting yourself out there, especially if somebody like you're in an area where your shop is very visible. So they have that initial like, oh, I've driven past there. Like I see that all the time. But you have the secondary confirmation with interaction that's direct, that's memorable to compound on that almost subconscious like noticing of your signage or your location.
Oh, totally.
That really kind of seals the deal with like they're more open to go to that establishment. And that's business. And as somebody who's never done anything outside of owning a shop when it has to do with business, like no business courses, no nothing. I just winged it. It's like some things just naturally make sense,
Yeah.
and other things you have to learn.
I think that's kind of what it is, though, too. It's like they always say, like, it takes a year to, like, survive. And I think that's because, like, you need to go through a whole calendar year of your billing, your problems, your situation. And then once you figure all that out, you go, okay, cool. This is what happened. And if you had any issues, you go, how can I address this or make this better? And then every year you should hopefully get better.
And figuring out
Tighten up.
patterns and noticing like what events or um, things on the calendar, how it affects your flow of business.
Oh, yeah.
And community events, it's there's a fair in town, so that's where everybody is and we're dead. Or like for us it's motorcycle week. Like we as a downtown business are not busy during motorcycle week because all of that action happens in the weirs and it just doesn't trickle down here. So it'll be like slightly slower than normal week, where it's like the locals are like, all right, the bikers aren't going to get a haircut or a beard trim or a shave.
Yeah.
So we can slip down there and do that. So it's really just like learning what unique things, or like traffic picks up during prom season or graduation.
Oh, yeah, back to school.
Yeah, back to school. Like any of those things that like you aren't necessarily on a calendar, but you kind of got to learn when they're coming up.
Yeah.
Like whether you have kids or not, the school year
You
matters.
learn. Oh, you totally learn. Yeah, it's always like a big deal in August, like back to school. And then we call it like the Trinity of the year. You get your Thanksgiving, your Christmas, holidays, New Year's. And then we can't chill until like January.
Oh yeah, February, like January is like when the gift cards come in from Christmas for us.
Yeah.
And then February, March is like, all right, we're going to be like slow.
Yeah.
So anytime somebody comes in when we're not having a pandemic and they're like, so when are you guys not busy? I'm like, February.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah,
I wish I could tell you a day of the week, but I can't.
I always think like Valentine's Day. We're going to be busy then. And like sometimes there's like that week, people.
But after that, drops.
Yeah. And then spring begins and people are like,
Easter.
Skin fade. It goes from like one to tighter, so.
Well, there's that 50-50 shot that Easter will be under snow.
Yeah.
So it's really like, I don't want Grandma to give me grief the way she did on Thanksgiving.
Oh. Speaking of snow, it snowed 8 months.
Yeah.
From like, what is it, October to April?
It snowed in May this year.
Yeah. There you go.
It snowed the same month that we hit 92 degrees.
It was
Welcome
like a week
to New
apart.
England.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, does that have to be it?
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the snow. I've always been New Hampshire or in Mass when I was younger, but New England. And I've just like endured the winter. I've never done anything like snowboarding or skiing.
Yeah, I'm not an outdoorsy person either.
I just suffer.
But here you have to be a hardy individual. And I'm not a New Hampshire local by any means. I'm from Ohio, so I'm not used to the mountains.
Yeah.
I've lived here for 10 years now, so I'm fairly good at the whole lay of the land situation. But you're not going to catch me on the ski slopes. You're not going to catch me snowshoeing. Like, you're lucky I own a kayak.
Yeah. Yeah, my family was never into that. It just seemed like all that stuff's like really expensive. It was like, you got your sled, you got your like snowboard from a small store, we went around the hills, but I don't know.
So,
more of a spring, summer, fall person. Fall for sure.
Since we touched on the pandemic, and of course that's what everybody's talking about right now, but how are you personally with the COVID restrictions doing with like how where you work is handling things, and are you handling things the same way at your shop, Stanley's, and the things that are implemented and things you can't do? How's that been going?
They're about the same now. I think everyone's kind of feeling the same struggle that works in a shop, like shop owners. It's you're paying more for PPE, so your expenses are more now, but you're making less because you're doing like less work, less haircuts than you could have been doing before. But I think the measures are important. You know what I mean? Like safety is like the first priority, and I'm just grateful to be open really because I didn't cut hair for 2 months, so it's nice to be back. But at first, I got a lot of capes, like a lot of shops did, and that became kind of like a logistical nightmare because you were using them once at a time, and you get like 20 to 30 capes a day. So you'd wash them, and then like if this is the saying, if you wash them at your house, then you start to like affect your machines.
Oh yeah.
And then so and then you using more water, using more detergent, or what we've also found that's been good that I've seen a couple of our shops doing, gotten like painter trap and just like cutting like cape size plastic, which is like good because it's like one per person and it's like easy set up, clean up, throw it away, sanitary, And we've been using gloves. Not that it's like required by the state of New Hampshire, but it just seemed like the right thing to do, especially right now, early on. Like, let's do this right. Obviously, we're wearing masks. We have clean capes, whether they're brand new, being washed, single use, or the plastic painter's wrap. And it's awesome that New Hampshire provided like shops with masks too. So we all have plenty of masks to obviously wear and give out if clients don't have them. I actually heard something really interesting on your show that people were canceling appointments because they refused to wear masks. That's gnarly.
Yeah, I had one or two customers that did that.
I mean, everyone has their opinion about what's going on, and that's fine. But it's like these are state mandated rules. Like they shouldn't give anyone a hard time. It's like, it's like it has to be done if you want the haircut. And I haven't experienced any of that. People ask, they come in like, oh, do I have to actually do this? And it's like, yes, you do. And it drops there. So everyone that I've dealt with, I've seen in the shops that I work at and own have been really respectful and cool about that.
Well, and I don't fault anybody for not wanting to get a haircut with a mask on. Like, that's your choice. And there is the consequence of if you're not willing to wear a mask to get your haircut, then you're not going to get your haircut. That's a consequence that you're willing to make that choice and suffer. I mean, it all depends on how much you hate hair.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's like, oh, a harsh consequence. But, we as humans, that's what we do. We have the ability to choose things, whether it's mandated by government, whether it's, we're under full oppression or not. You still have the ability to choose whether to do something or to not. Technically, nobody can make you do anything. There's always an alternative.
Yeah.
Now, that alternative's consequence may be harsh and possibly final, but you still have that choice as a human. So I'm not going to fault anybody for going, all right, well, I don't want to wear a mask. Okay, that's fine. Then you're not going to get a haircut. That's cool.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
And especially because it's not our choice. Like, we are required to require that. And that just is what it is. It's hey, I have to answer to a higher power like everybody else, and that higher power is telling me that I have to require you to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to provide that for you. But if you don't want to do that, that's still your right.
Unless you're getting a beard trim, which then the mask can come off.
Yeah, now we're getting into the new restrictions that have been slightly lifted that don't always fall in the realm of logic.
Yeah.
But this is New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's the rule, because I wanted to make sure we were doing it right, because it kind of went like wildfire one day, like, we can do this. But nothing was really changed. Like, I think the Stay-at-Home 2.0 cosmetology had been updated, and it says, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but it was something like, the mask must stay on, except for when it can come off. And it's like, what? So I called the board, and they said, yeah, that's correct. You can do beard trims and shaves. The mask has to be on before if they're doing the haircut, and only can come off during the service, and has to go right back on after. And I said, okay. And then I also asked about, because this has been a big issue too, which I'm sure you've heard about, is the children getting haircuts with or without a parent. Is that okay or not? And I was told last that they are working on it, that it's still like one client per barber per shop. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yes.
I've had to refuse some haircuts because I'm like, obviously this 2-year-old is not going to be okay alone,
Well, and my thing with that is using common sense, because heaven forbid that we have to regulate common sense. And what we have been doing, whether the board has an issue with it or not, they can contact me directly. It's fine. But what we do as common sense individuals is go, if your child is old enough to wear a mask by themselves, then we will allow the child to be accompanied by one parent. That parent stays 6 feet away from us. And the service occurs. Everybody's still wearing a mask. And in my case, I have my own room. So it's guaranteed we're away from anybody else.
Yeah.
But if your child is too small to wear a mask, then they'll have to wait until that restriction is lifted.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
There's no reason why a parent cannot accompany their child. Like, they have a legal right to do that.
Especially when you can cut the parent's hair and the child can be outside, and vice versa. So you're assuming the same risk if obviously this parent or guardian lives with the child. So it's like one of those things that it doesn't make any sense. especially if you're distancing. It's just like the three of you, the hair cutter and the two people.
Right.
But,
We're the ones who are taking the risk by having that extra person
and
there.
they're the same risk though if they live together. You know what I'm saying? So it's
they're exposed to each other.
and you can cut both of them separately. But what is the point if they're the same like family?
They live in the same environment.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's no different. Yeah. It's
So that one's been more of an issue because I feel like it makes you the bad guy. But everyone's just trying to. It's like a weird time. Everyone's trying to do the right thing. We're happy to be back at work, and yeah, I don't know if we're just kind of seeing how this all plays out. Like, my prediction is, and I don't know anything. Obviously, I'm just the dude who owns a shop and cuts hair. In
we love
shop.
amateur predictions. Bring it on.
I don't know. It feels like everyone I talk to, it's like the masks are probably gonna stick around for a while. So I think now that you're seeing restaurants and bars open at half capacity, hopefully we'll get a little bit more capacity. But I think masks are gonna stick around. Maybe we'll go to 12 people, and it won't be so assigned now. But that's just a guess. I don't really know what's gonna happen. But what is the next step then? That sounds logical.
You also have to remember, because you spend time in those counties that touch Massachusetts. So for any of the counties in the state of New Hampshire that don't touch, so there's 4 of them that touch that have that 50% rule.
Okay.
But everybody else is 100% capacity as long as the tables are 6 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about like where you are, because those 4 counties have 90% of the COVID cases. So that's why they have different rules, because of their exposure and the number of people that are commuting to and from Massachusetts, where numbers are way higher. And even then, like, Massachusetts has rules that are more relaxed than ours in some ways. Yeah. And let's be honest, nobody who is coming up here for vacation is quarantining for 2 weeks before or after they get here. Like, nobody's doing it.
No. I remember early on too, you see like signs on the highway, like if you're entering Mass, quarantine for 2 weeks, and there's so many people that work in different states and vice versa. But
yeah, and that's the thing. It's not practical in order to keep our economy alive for that to happen. But the screening questions that we are required to ask, which we do in one way or another, is an honor system. People can lie. There's no way you can prove it.
Not to mention, I'm pretty sure like 60% of people that have COVID are asymptomatic. Correct. So you're not going to have a fever. And like you said, people aren't going to necessarily be honest with you.
Well, and personally, I have an issue with the whole taking temperature thing.
Yeah.
So in my experience, the concept of HIPAA, all right, so the temperature, compelling a medical measurement, your medical information, compelling that as a requirement to enter a business or to work at a business, and then discriminating against that data, that medical information, as to whether or not you can enter or whether or not you can work there. If you open that door with temperature, where does it stop? Because, all right, well, what other medical information am I allowed to compel out of you? And then determine whether or not you're allowed to be here.
Yeah. I don't know. I went to a dentist and they did like the thermometer, just like we've been doing with our employees every day. And they did like a oxygen test, and they do
well, I get a medical facility. Yeah. Like, medical facility has professionals who are trained and certified to take medical measurements.
So that's different, I guess, yeah.
I go, that is where medical records occur. I get that. And you have that doctor-patient confidentiality situation. Like, that's a safe area for that to happen. But outside of a medical care facility, barbers are not doctors. We have been told without fail that we can't diagnose anyone with anything.
Well, we were surgeons at one point, so maybe.
Yeah, but they've ousted us since then for the last couple hundred years.
It's been a couple hundred years.
But
so you make a good valid point.
Yeah, and even though we are trained to learn to identify certain things, we cannot diagnose them. It's it appears that you may have this, but I can only refer you to your doctor to get that checked out. Like, I can't tell you whether you do or don't have that.
Yeah, I agree that it definitely seems invasive.
But, like, just having that information out there, like, it's one thing to have a device that'll show a green light or a red light as to whether or not you're in that range.
Yeah.
Because then it's not an exact measurement, and it's either you are or you aren't. It's a yes or a no.
Mm-hmm.
But not a determination based on a measurement when we're not certified, we're not qualified to do that, in my opinion. Like, that's not our job. So I think that opens some things up to some lawsuits, because I'm always thinking 2-3 years down the road when people are trying to like change legislation and using this situation as a precedent. That's not cool in my book.
So much sanitizer, antibacterial soap.
So much.
And
wasn't it like 8 years ago they were like super bugs? We're making super bugs.
I hope I don't get these like dates messed up. I'm gonna try to. I say this every day to every customer, so I should get this right. So basically, we were told when we had to close that we were gonna find out. We were no sooner than May 4th we were gonna open, or if we were gonna open May 4th, and then we find out like May 1st. We don't know what's going on yet, but we know you're definitely not opening May 4th. And then like May 3rd, they were like, okay, you can open the 11th, but you have to have all the stuff that you can barely find.
And the reason why we're saying the 11th is to give you a week to get it.
Yeah, which was pretty stressful, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that, 4 months ago, you could have walked to Walmart and you could have got, toilet paper and paper towels, antibacterial soap, Clorox sanitizer wipes. Remember those? Like, it was like an easy thing. Now it's like I feel like a lot of shops you can see struggling in New Hampshire. They're like, we don't even know if we want to open yet till like June because we have to get all this stuff and we don't want to open and have to close. You know what I mean? So it was kind of scary to like wrangle all that stuff up, but we definitely made it happen. All the shops I'm at, and it was a lot of like spending a whole day going to like 5 stores, finding like one of these things, and it was crazy. Buying stuff online, hoping they're going to come in on time.
Well, I know a lot of shops that had to wait another week before opening. They didn't open until the 18th.
Yeah.
Instead of the 11th because their PPE didn't come in yet. And with the reliability of shipping being very up in the air, you never know when they're going to arrive.
I got these disposable capes, and they came like so late, and they were like a sixth of what they should have been. These like plastic things. They looked like a half a plastic bag. And I remember trying to put one on the first customer, and I was like, I look like I have no idea what I'm doing. I tied 2 of them together. It looked so crazy. So now I have these ton of this plastic, and I like pick up after my dog after with it. I mean, there's nothing else I can do with this plastic.
Well, see, and that's the other thing that I find interesting about the whole pandemic situation is that so many things that we cared so much about suddenly just are thrown out the window. Like the whole wastefulness of all this PPE going, especially with disposable capes going, this is plastic. The dreaded evil plastic that we've been trying to not throw into Mother Earth.
Please don't get me wrong, too. I like to think of myself as pretty like earth. I'm just trying to make a small carbon like footprint of the earth. And it does hurt to do all this stuff because like it like weighs on me using all this plastic and stuff, but it's almost like a necessary evil. It's like, do I break my washer and dryer, or do I use these for like the summer? Or we don't really even know what the deadline is, like when we could do what. And
well, on the subject of the plastic, you got to remember that in the state of New Hampshire, this is all we know about. We're not professionals for any other state and their regulations, but they specify on the concept of permeable or non-permeable, being whether it needs laundered or to be disinfected. Mm-hmm. So if you're using plastic capes, you can, in essence, you still have to use one per customer per day, but you can knock it down to the 20 or 30 capes that use a day and disinfect them with your disinfectant sprays, and just have them hang dry, and you can use them the next day. That way you don't have to throw them away because they're non-permeable. So that might be a solution for you as an alternative. I don't know how much space you got to be able to hang 20 or 30 plastic capes around to dry, but
True.
Maybe you could do shifts. I don't know.
It was cool too. There's like some companies that really I think came out to help out barbers and barbershops like Bonafide was one of them. It looks like they sold all their capes for like wholesale. They were all like I think they're still like $8 to $12. That's like half or less than like what a lot of people are selling for, just to get them out to people, and like it's good for them too because it obviously brands them out, gets their brand out, and it helps so many shops that need, clean, fresh PPE to work.
And for them, like even selling them at wholesale, like they're still making a little bit on that, which helps them survive because when barbershops are hurting, they're hurting because we're not ordering stuff from them.
Totally not, If we're not buying product, then they're not selling product.
Right. And I think with with capes, man, capes ended up being worse than toilet paper for our industry. Like
Oh, totally.
getting them, if you went through a Barber catalog, it was if you end up paying like $24, $25 a cape, which is insane.
Yeah.
And then you have no idea when they're going to show up.
I think it says a lot about a company too, the way they act during this, and they will hopefully be remembered in a good light. Like, hey, they did this really solid thing, and they helped out a lot of people. It's like a win-win for everyone, really. Even if they lost some money by selling a product for less, I feel like I'm doing a bona fide commercial, but it was helpful, and I know it helped a lot of other shops out too. So,
well, and
thank you.
I was super grateful being able to order from Prospectors and Uppercut Deluxe, the ones that I carry, that they had capes available. So I was like, "Can I get 2 or 3 dozen, please?"
Yeah, is that cool? Yeah, it's the minimum. Yeah.
Well, and they were for reopening for some states. They were offering really great discounts,
Awesome.
like big orders, and I was fortunate enough to have the capital to be able to take advantage of those large orders.
Yeah.
Number one, I'm like, I want you guys to still be around.
Yeah.
I don't want you having to fire your reps or anything like that. And number two, you've got stuff that I need.
Yeah, totally.
And some of the capes, we had never used before, and I kind of like them better than the capes I had.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
just, instead of having snaps pop off, it's having a hook with elastic. It's kind of nice little things, details.
Favorite cape, scrunchy neck, little hook. You gotta hook both sides.
Yes.
For years, I didn't know you're supposed to hook both sides. And it would stick in and it'd be a hole. I'm like, what is going on with this? And then someone showed me one day and I was like, oh. And while we're talking about like hooking things, I just want to tell this. I mean, Barber's cutting hair right now probably already figured this out or seen this on Instagram. But in case you haven't, there's a really good trick that I didn't invent, but I saw this on Instagram. You can like take a clip or a comb and take someone's mask if they're required to wear it in your state and kind of like put it underneath their ear so it stays over their mouth and nose, and you click in the back, and this leaves you room to arc around their ears and get all the hair on the sideburn and taper it out. So that's been like the big question. Oh, how are you gonna get around my ears? How are you gonna do my sideburns? You're gonna blend my beard, right? And like, yes, we're gonna do this.
Oh yeah, everybody's concerned about that. I'm like, we've been doing this for 2 months.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we figured it out.
True. But I have had people hit me up too because our state opened up before other states, and they'd like, how are you doing this? And I was like, oh, we're doing like this, and I'd like find a picture and like, here you go.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's helpful for sure. You know what I mean?
Well, and even as simple as like if somebody comes in with an elastic or tie mask around their head, I'm like, all right, so we're gonna switch that out. I'm gonna give you a disposable with ear loops. This is gonna make everybody's life easier.
That's a really good idea. I probably shouldn't even tell the story, but I've definitely cut some masks off. Usually 2 of the state provided ones. It's just going to happen. So like you just said, definitely be careful or have them use like the state provided ones. I've only cut like one good mask, but it was all good.
Well, believe it or not, like there's the state does only gave out an initial order for us to get started, and now we're responsible for our own. But if you had a solid first order and it's like you're still on it, awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't been in touch with them yet, but I remember they're saying reorder more. I remember thinking like I should probably reorder more, but I didn't want to be part of the whole hoarding problem of like I'm gonna get more even though I don't need them now because I'm gonna need them. And I find that we don't go through too much of them, and that like a lot of clients, I would say 80 to 90% of the time, probably closer to 90, bring their own mask.
Yeah.
And they're already prepared, which is cool. And we did some cool ones at Stanley's too. We had like some cloth ones made with the logo. And there you go again, like with the branding, you know what I mean? And so.
Right? It's easy.
And it's easy, and we just give them out too. So it's like, cool, you wear this, and then like you go to like the convenience store next to it, and like, oh yeah, cool, you guys still open? Oh, are you doing appointments now? Neat.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like.
Same at the supermarket because that's where everybody has to
Yeah,
wear a
yeah.
mask.
It starts the conversation.
Definitely. And with the state stuff, it's that I don't think that they realized how many businesses needed how many masks.
Yeah.
Especially our industry. But like,
Oh, totally.
they were like, all right, well, we gave you guys an initial order. Like, we can't afford to give you any more. But now you can get boxes at Walgreens. Like, they're all on the shelf. There's plenty of PPE everywhere now.
I knew distributors too had them too, but it's like they're kind of expensive, like 50 cents a mask. Like that adds up when you do like, you know, hundreds of haircuts a month, and say you're just planning out thinking no one's going to come in with it. So you got to have like, you know, thousands or like hundreds of masks, you know, just in case. Because before we knew how it was actually going to like roll out, you know.
Oh, you're planning for the worst the whole
Yeah,
time.
you're like, I need this, I need that. I definitely ordered a lot of stuff. I spent tons of money and have tons of gloves and sanitizer and antibacterial soap It's wild.
Oh yeah, I got capes for days. But yeah,
Yeah.
gloves. Like we were never required to wear gloves, which you stated before. For me, the reason why at first I wore gloves was because every winter it just gets so dry here that my hands crack from all of the hand washing that we do all the time. The stuff we're always required to do, always in barbering. So my hands just always crack.
Yeah.
And because I knew that, I just wanted to prevent it. And I'm like, I can just wear gloves and spare my skin.
Yeah.
But that didn't last forever, and because it's not as dry as it is in winter. So we got the humidity going, so my hands are better off. Plus, found a great supplier for hand sanitizer. Winnipesaukee Whisker Oil. He makes phenomenal hand sanitizer that's really moisturizing.
That's also a good gel one.
Yeah, well, it's liquid, but we got a big old pump at the front of the barber shop, and we got little ones at each station. But the ingredients are really, really good because he's not a distillery the way that a lot of people who are making hand sanitizer are. So under, I think it's ATF regulations for distilleries, they can't add certain things to what they distill, flavors and all that. So because he's not a distillery, he's using isopropyl alcohol already.
Yeah.
And he works with oils and that sort of thing all the time. He made a very moisturizing formula, which is great. So we love that.
That's excellent.
Little plug, not a sponsor.
I have the opposite. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't even want to give them any credit at all, but I got burned super hard with the company with sanitizer because I was like panic buying supplies we needed to open. And I got like 3 gallons of sanitizer in these little bottles, and it was like literally 3 gallons in these like probably 50 of these little bottles, and it came to like $400. But I was like, and this is like not good gel foam sanitizer. This is like DIY liquid. But I was like, I need this. And then like the sales rep, because I like bought it and like sent them an email, and the rep hits me up and he's like, oh yeah, you put an order in. Are you interested in buying still? He didn't even know that I put an order in. I was like, yeah. I already put an order in. He's like, oh, cool. And I was like, oh, so since you're calling me, can you like give me some of the money back if you want to do the wholesale? And he's like, I'll get back to you. And then he called me back and he's like, no, I can't do that, but next time. And I was like, yeah, I'm never going to call this company again.
Never.
But they gave me a product, and it's just one of those things, like sometimes people take advantage of the situation. You know what I mean? We needed these products. It was like, you need sanitizer. You need, more capes. It's like, it's not a question. So people sometimes, I noticed that when everyone was buying gloves, they kind of like seem to double in price all of a sudden. It's like, oh, this box that's usually $10 or $13 is like $25 now. So it was kind of crazy to see.
And I think during that same time, we were very fortunate because if you have a network of barbers in the area, I think we did a really good job that we reached out to each other and really like shared links for supplies, links for where to order the masks from the state from. And like if somebody had barbicide, because that was a hot commodity for a little bit, reaching out to your fellow barbers that might need help, especially if they're like a one-chair shop situation where it's like, hey, I found a really good link. Check it out if
That's
you need
awesome.
it.
Yeah. I did a lot of that too, like reaching out to locals around, because it's like you want everyone to like be all right and do good,
Well, and then we were very much living the mindset of we're all in this together. Like,
Totally.
We're all in like a hole and we need to get out.
Yeah.
Let's all, make a tower of people. Hurry up.
A lot of networking. Like, what are you doing? Like, how does this work? Is like.
Yes, because we all wanted to make sure that we made it out.
And we all want to be doing the right thing too. You know what I mean? We all have like high standards at the barbershop, and you don't want to just be like winging it and just open it up and just barging it, no mask, no whatever, just like crazy stuff,
That's how you get in trouble and make headlines. But I mean, I feel like now the tone and the perspective of people is altered. Like, I feel like psychologically there's about a 90-day period of the human experience where we will tolerate almost anything for about 3 months. But once we pass that point, I think that's why jobs have that preliminary, like, probationary period of 90 days before you're, like, eligible for benefits and, like, totally a full-time employee. Because it really tells you, like, that's the 90 days to find out who you really are. and how you really react to things,
Yeah.
and you stop being nice. And I think that's what we're seeing now that we've passed that 3-month timeline. That's like, all right, we're done playing now.
I think
We're
people
getting tired.
are getting restless too, and like they've been kind of like cooped up, and it was easy to coop people up when it was like kind of like a colder spring, but now it's summer. Everyone wants to go to the beach.
Oh yeah.
Everyone wants to go out and do whatever, And
Well, especially because we have such hard winters here. It's like
yeah,
we only have like this much of summer.
like
we
I
need
said
to use
earlier, it snowed 8 months this like past winter, so it was like, and not even like a lot of snow, just like enough to suck, Like, oh, it snowed, it
That
went
gives
away.
us 4 months.
Yeah,
4 months of good weather.
not into it. But yeah, people are restless. They want to go out there and live their lives, Go to Hampton Beach and
And I can't really blame them.
get a T-shirt
there's-
made with spray paint or something. Whatever
Get some
they're
fried dough. Go to Blinks.
doing. Oh yeah, totally. That's what I thought was hilarious too. The whole like trying to control the beach. It's like, okay, you can go to the beach, but you can be in this crowded sidewalk and everyone's getting Blake's fried dough and spray paint T-shirts, but don't lay down on the beach. Even though you're just, I don't know, you can't do anything. Either it's open or it's not, and you can't control people sometimes.
Well, and that's the thing. I think with some places that are trying to gauge the decision on whether or not to make masks mandatory, you really have to think on the enforceability of it.
Yeah.
You're going, you really have to, like, because you have to look at the entire situation from beginning to end. It's, all right, so you're going to require masks at all times, like in public places. All right, well, how are you going to enforce it? Like, who's going to enforce it? Because right now, the whole concept of police enforcing isn't exactly the most popular. So there's that. And you go, all right, well, what's the consequence for them not following that order? Because you have to create one, right? Otherwise, there's no incentive to follow the order.
Yeah.
All right, so how do you decide what that consequence is? Is it going to be a fine? Is it going to be something else, like jail time? Like what? Because you have to go, all right, well, is that a reasonable consequence? And is it effective enough? Like, is it severe enough to warrant the following of the rule?
Yeah.
You go, and you have to compare it to rules that already exist, laws that already exist. It's like, it's kind of like the whole drug law thing. Like, how are you getting life in prison because you got, 3 drug charges in your life and you got more time than somebody that killed someone?
Yeah.
You go, you have to measure these things because they matter. And the enforceability of something like that is next to impossible.
I haven't thought too much about the enforceability of it, but I think that the mask in a public place is a respect thing for like, hey, I might have this. I don't know if I do. If I haven't been tested and I'm asymptomatic, and I don't want to get you sick. If I'm like a younger person, so I look at it as a respectful thing. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good idea. You know what I mean? And even if it's wrong and it's like a hoax or whatever, then what's the worst thing that happened from you wearing it? You know what I mean? Oh, you got to wear an uncomfortable mask. I mean, my ears have been burning from like little rope and the string for the last 6 to 7 weeks.
Well, especially because you wear glasses.
Oh,
I'm sure
totally. It's been terrible, but like, it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Not to like, I don't know.
it's an inconvenience.
It's an inconvenience for sure, yeah, but I don't think it's like worth revolting about.
Well,
no.
and I don't think it's a serious enough thing to compel someone to do.
Yeah.
It's all right, you're a human, you're an adult. The majority of people out in public alone. It's that you have that choice to do it. And yes, I strongly believe that it is a respect thing because it's not about you. It's about other people you're around.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you have. But I don't think that respect should be compelled.
Yeah.
I feel that is a human choice. And of course, this is my personal opinion. I'm not endorsing it for anybody or, any sort of situation like that. But you still have that ability to choose. And
I agree
people
with that.
see that and
Because I see people,
respond.
I don't judge people when I see them doing whatever they're, mask, no mask. I might feel kind of like taboo if I have it on and they don't. But I'm not like offended. I'm not like running around them. If I have to walk by someone, I'm just going to like live my normal life. I'm like, all right, I have this mask on. I'm getting gas. I'm going to douse my hands in sanitizer, get back in my car. Just because now I'm always over critically thinking of what I'm touching, what I'm doing. But I don't know, I guess I see both sides of it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
for
I
sure.
think definitely. How do you police that? Or should you even police that? You know what I mean? I think I kind of agree with you. It shouldn't be a thing like that. I don't see someone go, someone needs to call the cops. And like you hear like people like do that kind of stuff, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
calling people having parties and stuff. It's like mind your own business. You know what I
Or
mean?
calling businesses just to see.
Yeah.
Like, is it your job to regulate this?
Have you guys
No.
had that
All right,
happen?
then.
Like people calling?
No, we haven't. But I've heard stories.
I'm sure. I mean, every time I get a phone call and someone asks how much the haircut is, even though it's probably a customer, I always think it's another shop. Like they want to know.
Yeah, I don't have enough time in my day to bother putting any energy to thinking that anymore.
Though we're pretty transparent with all of our like costs and everything, and they have gone up a little bit. I think where a lot of people's have, and it's been cool. There hasn't really been any. I've seen any backlash. People have been respectable and understanding that like, hey, you guys to run the business to be open, you're doing fewer haircuts and you're paying more to be open. And I don't know. People have just seemed to be awesome.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say.
in our experience too, for sure, people are very understanding. Because you don't see the line and seeing how busy people's shops are.
Yeah.
They always make a very good point of making a point to ask, going, "How are you guys doing? Like,
Yeah.
are you doing all right? Are you busy?" Because it's not apparent.
I hear that every day. They're stoked to get haircuts too.
Oh yeah,
I was worried, not worried, but I was thinking that people would come in like sketched out. Well, some people, and I'm sure some are. And but everyone seems to be not like they're just like happy to be there, and they understand we're taking our precautions, and we got the little like COVID things hanging up, like the not COVID things, like the the Barber side little thing,
the wipes and
Yeah.
the visuals that make people feel safe and go, "Oh, you're using disinfectants." And though it's like we always
True.
you have these
Yeah,
disinfectants.
it's funny. Even like the whole Barber side, like COVID-19 and certification, it's all like kind of common sense you've already done, you brushed up on. Something for us to do when we were bored on Instagram while we were waiting to go back to work. But it does look nice, and I think it does reassure some people. And there's been a lot of other barbers making fun of people having them and stuff. I got them taped to the mirror.
Only
Hey,
for
that's
the
cool.
gram, baby.
Yeah.
I never printed one out at all.
No.
But I will say I learned one thing from that test. That there's only a 2-minute contact time for the wipes. And I was ecstatic to learn that. I went,
Yeah.
sweet. I have to wait less time now.
Oh yeah.
But, man, Johnny, it's been great talking to you. I appreciate you coming up, making the trek up to come have a chat with me.
No problem. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for hitting me up.
So moving forward, you are, plugging along with the shop at Stanley's and, building the brand and doing great things. And we look forward to seeing what's next. Definitely go and follow him on Instagram and on social media platforms all over. And we'll keep an eye out for you. Thanks for coming in.
Awesome. No problem. Thank you.